The Senate Human Services Committee will come to order. It's 1:30 on April 19th. Thank you all for being flexible with the time. I think you all know it's Suicide Awareness Day. We were having an event out in front, and if you get a chance to walk outside, it's pretty stunning. There are 762 empty chairs sitting on the Capitol Mall, representing the 762 people who died as a result of suicide in 2015. And that is a crisis that hits all ages. We lose a 10 to 22-year-old about once every 10 days in Oregon, pretty consistently giving us one of the highest youth suicide rates in the nation. So we have a lot of work to do in that area. But we today get to talk about something much more uplifting. I'm going to open up a public hearing on House Bill 2216A. Senator Matt.
Senator Matt.
Hi, congratulations.
Yeah.
It's easier than I thought. Madam Chair, members of the committee, House Bill 2216A establishes specified rights for foster children, and it directs the Department of Human Services to adopt rules establishing the Oregon Foster Children Siblings Bill of Rights. It directs DHS to review the rules periodically and promote participation of current and former foster children in developing the rules.
And youth too, right? Children and youth?
And youth.
Awesome. Senator,
Me too.
everybody's a senator today. Representative Peluso.
Thank you, Chair Lupe. Madam Chair. You should be here by now. Madam Chair and members of the committee, I'm here today to urge your support for House Bill 2216, the foster youth.
Representative Peluso, after all that,
yes.
you have to say who you are.
I do, don't I? Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Carla Peluso, proudly represent House District 50, the City of Gresham. And I am here today to urge your support for House Bill 2216, the Foster Youth Sibling Bill of Rights. Youth from the Oregon Foster Youth Connection came up with this concept at their annual conference and later brought it to me. They identified this bill as their highest priority for the 2017 section. When a child or teenager is removed from their family and placed into the foster care system, they are confronted with many life changes all at once. They meet their new foster parents, go to sleep in a new bed, and often have to move schools. For a young person, this is very daunting. The positive presence of siblings is often the stability that keeps a youth thriving in the face of very difficult life challenges. At times, youth are separated from their siblings, become a placement together just isn't available. When this happens, there's no guarantee that the youth's need to maintain contact will be respected. That's why I am asking you to support this bill. House Bill 2216 establishes the Oregon Foster Youth Sibling Bill of Rights. These rights include maintaining contact and visits with siblings, including contact by telephone or electronic device, being provided with transportation to visit siblings, training foster parents and caseworkers on the importance of sibling relationships, developing a contact plan, and being immediately notified of placement changes or catastrophic events affecting them or a sibling. Please feel free to direct any questions you have to the Oregon Foster Youth Connection, who will testify shortly. They know what they're talking about. Maintaining contact with siblings is critical to stability and positive development for our foster youth. This bill helps us to ensure that they can find comfort and support with their siblings in very difficult times. I strongly urge your support.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Representative Peluso?
Just thank you for bringing this.
My pleasure, and thanks to all these folks.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for being patient with the schedule change.
No
Really
problem.
appreciate
Thanks.
it. All right, Alexis Basca and Lupe Rankin. Very good to see you both.
Okay. Hello, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Lupe Rankin, and I'm here today with Oregon Foster Youth Connections. Oregon Foster Youth Connections is a program for Children First for Oregon. We are a group of current and former foster youth who plan to change Oregon's foster care system through advocacy, activism, and leadership. So HB 2216, the Sibling Bill of Rights, blossomed at OFYC's 2016 policy conference, where 31 current and former foster youth dove into the touch problems DHS, caseworkers, foster youth, and foster parents are experiencing in Oregon at this time. On July 19th of 2016, many of us presented multiple recommendations to an audience of lawmakers, administrators, and service providers. Of the 7 policy suggestions, OFYC members chose sibling connection as the top priority to bringing forward to legislation this legislative session. And I'm going to hand it over to Lex.
Hello. For the record, my name is Alexis Baska. Thank you for having us, Chair Gelser and members of the committee. I strongly support this bill because I think that it would have been super helpful in my case. Being separated from your siblings is probably the most awful thing that I've ever had to experience. I entered the foster care system when I was 15. I am now 20 years old. So my father had just passed away. My mom was unstable, so I really looked upon my sisters to be a constant person in my life, but I was separated from them, and it was awful. I'm the oldest, so something that was always drilled into my head is that you take care of your little sisters, like you be their protector, and to not have any contact with them or be with them every day was way worse than entering into the foster care system or anything that I would endure during the foster care system, being in the foster care system. You just have that maternal instinct. You just want to be there for their first dance or when they start to have crushes and be that support in their life. So to not be able to cause more trauma, I became very depressed and hopeless because I couldn't be around my sisters. So I think that if I would have been placed with my sisters or even had a contact plan, it would have made a huge difference. I would have a better relationship with them today, I think.
Well, thank you very much. Are there any questions for?
Do we have anyone else?
We do not have anybody
Okay,
else.
so I do have a question.
Very good.
So if something happened where your bill, if this passes and everything's right here, and someone then, one of the foster care parents does not follow through, is there a complaint process? Is there a way that this can be reported, and who would you report it to so that there could be repercussions?
I personally Chair Senator Gelser, Senator Jimenez Anderson.
You're doing great.
I don't know what the specific repercussions would be. I would imagine that we could talk to our foster care ombudsman. You can talk to
Your attorney or the supervisor or the caseworker.
Okay.
Any follow-up question? Nope. Any other questions? Nope. Well, thank you. And your organization has done such a great job of bringing people to the Capitol, really telling stories. I think the policy summit that you had last summer, just the organization of getting your bill written and finding a fantastic champion in Representative Peluso. You are some of the most effective advocates in the building, and it's really great to get to have you in the committee and to get to see your bill move along. We're not posted for a work session today, but we will post it sometime next week and get it off the floor and off to Governor Brown so we can get it signed.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Senator Dembrow?
Madam Chair, actually, I'm wondering if someone from the department could come up and
course.
talk to us about how they might implement this.
Would that be, Kevin, are you willing
Great.
to come up? Thank you. Thank you both very much.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I'm just wondering, what you see as the next steps for this. Once I assume we're going to pass this, it's a great bill, and how the department would implement it to make it so.
So certainly, Chair Gelser, members of the committee, my name is Kevin George, and I manage the Foster Care and Youth Transitions Program at Department of Human Services. So many of the conversations we've already had with the folks at Oregon Foster Youth Connection have really been about how we implemented the Foster Care Bill of Rights a few years ago. And so it's about getting together a group of folks from their organization who are interested in the sibling bill and start working on exactly what this is going to look like, both in the language that we use, because there's a few things in the bill that actually says this is what the Bill of Rights will include, but that doesn't mean it's limited to that. So then we'll put in things such as, great question, about what happens, what is the complaint process if this doesn't occur, how much sibling contact is appropriate or whatnot. So I think it is one of those that we'll work with the Oregon Foster Youth Connection on putting it together and then get it out to everybody over the next several months. We had the conversation in March about starting a small group, and I've already invited a couple of the Oregon Foster Youth Connection members to participate in our training that we already have for caseworkers about the importance of siblings, so they can actually sit in and listen to the training and then start giving us advice on what else we need to change about that. So we've already kind of actively started moving in this direction.
Fantastic.
I have a question.
Yes.
So right now, when siblings are siblings all over the state? I mean, are they placed all over the state, or do they try to concentrate them in an area, or is it just depends on? Just depends.
Yeah, Senator Gelser and Senator Mona Sanderson, absolutely, it is across the state, and there are situations where I, quite frankly, stand fairly proud of what we do for siblings, sibling connections, and keeping kids together, much higher rate than many other states do, because that has been a value of ours for some time. But there are situations where it may be that Johnny needs to move to a different setting instead of his sister. And sometimes the conversation is about, well, why does Johnny have to move to another setting? It may be that he has higher needs that this provider can't provide. So one of the things we're talking about right now with our subcommittee as a result of our federal audit for placement stability is to say, what if we bring those services to the setting rather than having Johnny go to the setting? So is that one of those things to say, grandma's able to take in both kids, but what she's going to need is some other support, so bring those people to that home so Johnny doesn't have to leave. That's one thing. The other thing that I know is very clear for us is that we have those situations just in family dynamics now where two children may come into foster care as a result of something that was occurring within the family. They may have two different fathers. Both fathers may get their child, so the siblings are not together. So those situations occur. There's a variety of scenarios, but I think the issue ends up being that regardless if that has to happen for whatever reason, what is that ongoing connection? So are there other ways that we can actually get these kids connected? So it is the stuff around being able to Skype with one another. What kind of mechanisms can we do that? So if you do have somebody in Coos Bay and somebody in Baker, are there other things? There are a few activities that we're trying to do and trying to expand more of them. So one is, and I mentioned in some of the written material, Camp To Belong, which is an incredible support here for our young people. And we have 2 camps in the summer. This summer we'll have 2 different camps where the siblings get to come together for a camp for the week and do activities. And one of the activities ends up being a celebratory birthday party, because they're not always together on birthdays. So you do those kind of things. But it's a way of keeping kids together and then trying to build those connections if they don't already have them. So there's a variety of those activities that we need to get to the point where we're spreading them throughout the year. So it's not just the summertime thing that they're actually meeting with kids back and forth, but it is about trying to keep them together if at all possible. And if not, then what are we doing to keep them connected, even if they're not living together?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you very much.
Great. You're welcome.
Right, is there anybody else that wants to be heard on House Bill 2216? Can we put this on for a work session for Monday, please, Matt?
Sure thing.
That would be great. All right, I'm going to close the public hearing on House Bill 2216A.